looking, everybody? Welcome back to the O Show podcast, episode 432, presented by BetOnline.ag. Sign up for your 50% bonus now using BetOnline.ag. Make your picks starting tonight with a hometown game, Zach. We are live from Chandler, Arizona, is it? We are not in the studio. We are not on Zoom like last week.
Got a nice little spooky fire going.
We have the spooky edition of Jack and Zach's Sports Bet Show presented by BetOnline.ag. I want to kick it off right off the bat. Green Bay Packers visiting the undefeated Arizona Cardinals.
So you're really picking this game?
This is literally the most anticipated game of the year for the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, it's probably... Since they beat the Rams, is their most anticipated game on their schedule. Absolutely. I can't believe... So, you're picking against my Jets last week. Don't tell me you're picking against my Cardinals.
Well, okay, let's get to that real quick. The New York Jets got slaughtered by the New England Patriots. Not Tom Brady's New England Patriots, but Mac Jones's New England Patriots. 54-13. You could have betted over the 60 last week, and you would have been a big-time winner.
Wasn't it only 43, the over-under?
Yeah, it was relatively high going in.
Points. It was only 7 points dog. They were only 7-point dogs.
Which was ridiculous. I knew that was total BS going into that
game.
If
you had bet...
yes, the New England Patriots went into that game 2-4. They were not looking great, right? They needed a win. They were desperate for a win, and you knew Bill Belichick is as good as he is. Hall of Fame head coach is starving for a victory. They were going to pounce on the New York Jets. Even at home at Gillette, too, you gave them way too much credit. You gave the New York Jets way too much credit going into that game.
Well, I'm a fan, so that was on me. So, Oracle was a little less of an Oracle this week. So, in terms of overall, it was overall positive based on, like, size of the bets, based on odds. It was 7 for 11 5 for 9 if you don't include the prop bets. 5 for 11 if you do. So it was a little, prop bets, smaller bets, but so it's about like a 60%, 56 between 60%. But got some of the better ones. Got the Colts victory. I got that one. I got the Raiders victory. I called that. Called the Bucs victory. I thought the Bears would put up more of a fight, but they didn't. But neither of the prop bets went through. Derek Carr, good game, not as amazing a game as I thought. And Carson Wentz decided he's no longer throwing interceptions. But, overall good week on this. But I think I got some good ones.
He's got the notes.
Some winners.
He's got the notes. Let's see the notes you took. He writes down his own stats. It's pretty sad.
All right. So my first one this week is Lions are 3-point dogs against the Eagles. And I expect them not just to cover, but to win. I am predicting the Lions to not go 0-16, and they get their first win against the Eagles this week.
You know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I think you're going to be wrong, but I don't think it's going to be an easy win for the Eagles.
I think they at least cover. At the very worst, the Lions at least cover.
That's a good one to pick. I mean, that's a ballsy one to pick. But yeah, the Lions, they always find a way. When they have these stretches, whether it be 10 years ago going 0-16 multiple times.
I don't think they'll go 0-17 this time, but yes, I think they'll finally get the win. I'm picking the under at 48. If I'm predicting the Lions to win, I'm predicting that they hold Jalen Hurts to a little bit, and even if I predict them to win, Jared Goff is not magically going to become a good quarterback, so I'm picking the under on that. So I do, even though I was bad about prop bets last week, I'm going to continue with the prop bets for each of my 3 games. This one, I'm predicting 0 fumbles by either team. My prop bet.
You're usually wrong on the prop bets.
I got to keep going.
You thought you were going to be right with Tom Brady against Philly 2 weeks ago because he only had 2 interceptions all year. He throws one early on in that game.
Mm-hmm. And anyway, got the first one. All right, second game. We got Titans as my 1.5. That is 1.5 point favorite against the Colts. I don't think it'll be close.
Yeah.
I think that the Titans win by at least 7. I'm picking the over of 49. I think that Derrick Henry either runs roughshod or the Colts are so afraid of it that they do what they did to the Chiefs this week. And Ryan Tannehill has a feast on just stinking dunk, like dime passes to tight ends and to Julio and to Hollywood Brown. I think that one. And then my prop bet for that game is, let's see.
Don't even know.
Oh, Ryan Tannehill has more touchdowns than Derrick Henry. I think as good, Derrick Henry will have a better game.
It's funny how that's a prop bet. That's so funny how he's that much of a beast that you actually
so like the quarterback,
so he's going to rush.
So I'm predicting that prop bet because I just overall think probably not going to be enough. Probably going to be able to squeak through. So I think that the Titans win handily. I'm picking the over at 49. I think Ryan Tannehill, despite Derrick Henry being the better player, because Colts are so afraid of him, Ryan Tannehill has more touchdowns. And then last pick before rekindle this fire here, and then I'll let you go. Picking the Bears. Bears are 3.5 point dogs, and I'm picking them to cover and win. I'm picking the under of 39, and then my prediction is 2 turnovers by each team, at least in this game.
I see it in that matchup for sure. But I mean, both offenses don't sound that great. As you rekindle your fire, I'll keep this thing rolling. I think my first pick this week is going to be an in-divisional rivalry matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh!
So the Steelers have the under at 3.
Okay.
They're the 3-point favorites over Cleveland. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm feeling a Cleveland Browns victory. I'm going to bet the under on Cleveland at -3, only because I've seen glimpses of that Cleveland offense, showing glimpses of life, and Pittsburgh is just so bipolar at this point, where you think Ben Roethlisberger is going to put it together, and then all of a sudden Mike Tomlin's unit just falls apart.
They started to ask Mike Tomlin if he wants the USC job. You see, they asked him if he wanted the USC job.
He threw multiple other guys under the bus as well,
No.
Mike Tomlin style. Or is he Will.i.am? Here's my theory. Will.i.am and Mike Tomlin they're not only identical twins.
They're the same person?
They have the same birthday.
Really?
How's that spooky for you? That's fucking spooky.
That's a good spooky Halloween edition of it.
I figured that out when I was in 6th grade, watching Mike Tomlin's Steelers play the Packers in the Super Bowl at Cowboys Stadium, and Will.i.am did the halftime show with Slash.
Oh my God, that's a
like,
throwback.
That's Mike Tomlin up there.
Oh my God, that's so funny. All right. I agree with that one. I think Browns are not nearly as good as we thought, but I definitely think that they'll handle their business against the Steelers. All right, second game. What's your second game?
The second game, another one that, just because Geno Smith's in charge for the time being, you want to give him all the credit in the world. I thought he fought valiantly against the New Orleans Saints at home. I think they're the under this week, if I read that correctly, over Jacksonville Jaguars. They're covered to win by 3. I'm willing to stick to that.
Ooh, you're willing to stick to it.
Urban Meyer's Jacksonville Jaguars are, in that same cusp as the Detroit Lions. Get out of my shot. What are you doing? Shoo. Anywho, the Jacksonville Jaguars are just kind of in the same glitch as, the Detroit Lions. They got a ton of off-field distractions still, whatever you want to say about Urban Meyer and his whole fiasco, his whole shtick. So I'm going to bet the under on, I'm going to bet the spread on the under.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On the
what's the spread
Seattle
on that game?
Seahawks. -3. So
-3. Oh, that's a good spread.
I think it's a decent spread that could win you a lot of cha-ching. If you're right.
Yeah, I think Geno Smith is bad, but not quite that bad. I think he will.
We've seen glimpses of him when he was in New York.
Don't remind me of the Geno.
You're a Jets fan.
All right. Just go with your third game. Go with your third game as I look at my notes.
Third game, the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, you are. You have the courage of your convictions. Even though they're only, 2.5 point favorites or 2.5 dogs?
They are 2.5 dogs, I think.
Dogs.
I'd have to check it out. I am confident in them, though, for the first time in a long time. No, they are 1 point favorites now over the Minnesota Vikings.
Also changed since we last did that game.
Up north in Minnesota, it's going to be freezing this time of year, early November, late October 31st. Halloween, Halloween Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys are the 1 point favorite. I think they pull out. I've seen glimpses where the Vikings have shown life. I've seen glimpses of them this year where they've come up short.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
And I think the Dallas Cowboys are shooting on all cylinders. They looked great in their only loss this year against Tom Brady's Buccaneers on opening night. They've been steamrolling since. It's the postseason where they choke, Zach. We thrive in the regular season. We are unbelievable in the regular season. So, regular season champs, I say we're easily the NFC East champions. Playoffs, I don't know. I don't care. I won't get excited until they make the NFC title game. But I'm shocked that they're over just by 1 point. But yeah, I'm going with them over the Vikings. I don't have any prop bets for you just because they're just too
Too risky?
Too risky.
I don't want to start doing that. Don't want to take the same
I don't like
plunge.
losing money like you do on these bets. I like to make money, which is the purpose of BetOnline.ag. But continue.
Yes. All right. So that's our NFL football. Do you want to do our basketball conversation or our college football matchups before we go into the Michael Cera halftime?
You know what? It's your house. I'm going to let you go out of your way with whatever the hell you want.
All right, so
it's your camera, too.
We're gonna
your mics, too.
We're going to do a basketball conversation.
Wrong choice.
So, interesting to happen so far. It's very early, so this could just be there, but big significant change that happened this offseason on basketball is that they took out foul baiting, is that an offensive player could no longer purposely initiate contact with a defender and the defender would get fouled. That no longer, so James Harden, Trae Young, those are players very infamous for doing it. And interestingly enough, Trae Young not as much, but James Harden especially has been very struggling.
So would that eliminate flopping?
Games. Pretty much, for the most part, it'll pretty much eliminate pretty badly. And that's the thing. So far, currently in the season, it is the lowest amount of free throw attempts per game, and the first time it's ever been under 20 free throw attempts per game. Granted, it's early in the season. Could this be an early outlier? We're barely into the season. I believe each team's played about 4 or 5 games of an 82-game season, but I thought that was really interesting. I'm really excited for it because now you have a league where three-point shooting is so emphasized, but at the same time, defenders can really get up on you, and you can't, bait them for fouls. I guess my question to you is, as a casual basketball fan, does that more defensive-leaning game appeal to you at all? Does that actually sound like something that would be more fun to watch? Or do you prefer when offensive players can just hoist up shots?
No, I think it's going to completely, like we talked about last week about some of the rules that minor league baseball is implementing to see if Major League Baseball wants to use them down the line. And you look at those and it's like, they're not really changing much.
Yeah.
Like moving the bases back a couple of inches, not letting third baseman and first baseman go down the line past the dirt on a bunt attempt or something like that. This legitimately changes the entire game, the way basketball has been played the past decade.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. It has not been this way since early 2000s.
It's completely going to change the way it's portrayed and even marketed.
Yes.
On some platform. I mean, it's literally
defenders are finally going to get commercial spots.
Offense, super team after super team. Although that's kind of disintegrated, we're finally starting to see. There's some talented, really.
Thank you, Giannis. Thank you for taking out the super teams.
But yes, there's a lot of super teams that have kind of disabled. There's a lot of dynamic duos, you could say.
Yes.
Not a lot of big threes.
And that was common in
fours.
the early 2000s and the 90s. Jordan, Pippen, Shaq, Kobe, but the 3-4 Hall of Famers on one team, that seems like it's finally starting to die and go away.
Yeah, and I think this is just going to be a lot better for the game of basketball, especially for the young kids aspiring to play professional basketball.
Yeah.
Because all they see is offense, 3-point shot after 3-point shot, just the pageantry, the finesse, the swag behind it.
That tough player, the player that's maybe not super skilled, but is super tough and athletic, that player is going to start to come back.
The hard work, the grinders are finally going to come back. So I'm all for this. As a casual basketball fan watching the NBA, I think this is going to completely revolutionize NBA basketball moving forward.
I agree. I don't think it's an outlier either, and I'm really excited. Early 2000s was my favorite era of basketball, so I am very excited. All right.
Yeah, enough with this. Let's get to
the Michael Cera halftime report.
As we throw up our Michael Cera halftime report
graphic. All right, this week we're going back. We're going way back. We're going back 12 years.
You thought last week was exciting. Just wait until you see what Zach's got cooked up today.
So we're going back 12 years to 2009. In 2009, another charity event, he participated in a charity soccer event, which they raised, I believe, even before the game was played, $30,000 for, and I believe it was, Nigeria, a Nigerian for youth in Nigeria, basically like sort of YMCA rec / education center for them. And he wore his Juno outfit when he was playing the soccer game. And they were playing with a bunch of sort of like, not Premier League, but still like high European League soccer players that came down to play with them and a bunch of other celebrities. And he literally said his favorite highlight was that he was able to pass the ball without tripping. And he played the entire game in his Juno outfit, the red headband, everything. And his team ended up tying, and he said he almost cried of joy because he was like, I thought I was going to choke so bad for the charity of my choice. So that proves, doesn't matter.
And that just shows that he cares about his teammates.
Yes.
Which is something you don't see in the NBA anymore anyway. That is a
I knew
direct
you were
shot
gonna
at you,
dig.
Kyrie Irving of the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, wow. You're doing that now.
Yes, I mean, I agree with him on this stance. But there have been past instances, Kyrie Irving, getting a nose job during Game 7 when LeBron's Cavs are taking down your Celtics. What the hell is that all about?
Oh, my God. I want to say, because I'm glad you specified, because your boy Floyd came out in support of him today, at least of his current thing with the vaccine mandate in
I do support him on
Brooklyn.
the mat. He can do what he wants. Obviously, when everyone else on your team is abiding by the rules, and that's an NBA force.
There's going to be
rule as
consequences.
well. There's going to be consequences. Your teammates aren't going to be on the same page with you. But yeah, I mean, Floyd Mayweather coming out today is what Floyd Mayweather, Mayweather Boxing and Fitness right here. Grand opening.
This weekend, right?
2 more days. You have 48 hours to sign up for a membership. Grand opening in Scottsdale this weekend. We got the ribbon cutting ceremony. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the big one with that one.
You have more.
I'm just making sure. Went over everything.
Well, now we've already kind of set the table. Do you have anything else on Michael Cera, or we're going to disappoint?
Oh yes. He almost broke Kate McCullough's nose playing in the game.
Really?
So yeah, it was in the USA Today article I was reading. One of the other celebrities that participated was Kate McCullough. And he was so excited that he passed the ball successfully because either I think during the practice or the first half of this charity soccer game, he kicked it way too hard and hit Kate McCullough in the face and almost broke her nose. So, but in the end of the game, he passed. He made the assist for the winning for the tying goal. He made the assist for the tying goal.
And that's all that matters at the end of the day for
improvements. And that's all I have for this week's Michael Cera halftime report.
Close Michael Cera halftime report graphic.
All right.
Moving on.
Let's do. Do you want to do World Series or college football?
Do we want to kiss Charlie Morton's ass right now for the next 5
minutes?
That's
what I kind of want to do that.
World Series Game 1 2 nights ago. We got Game 3 coming up on Friday night, live in Atlanta, Georgia. But Game 1, Charlie Morton, he threw 16 pitches. 16 pitches on a broken leg. Wow. What a I mean, I don't think he probably felt it until that final tug in the second inning where he had to come out of the game, but it was later revealed. I think John Smoltz even said on the broadcast he thought it was a hamstring thing. He said, oh, when you feel your hamstring pop, that's it. You know, you could obviously see that he was in pain. You find out after the game that he threw 16 freaking pitches on a broken leg.
Absolutely insane. I mean, you haven't seen any of this really. The last event I can really think of that was like this incredible in terms of playing on an injury for me. Obviously, a minor one was Brady played the entire last season on a torn MCL, which is something not nearly as bad.
No.
But Tiger Woods winning the U.S. Open, he had a hairline fracture, if I'm not mistaken, when he won the U.S. Open. I believe that was in 2008, 2009. And so, but since then, we have not seen anything like this. It was incredible, and I was already rooting for the Braves. I'm really rooting for the Braves because what a story that is. Especially if it goes to a Game 7 and that Game 1 win is crucial and his good start to that, those 16 pitches he threw and that good start to that game mattered. He's going to become a legend. He'll become a real legend if the Braves end up doing it. So all respect to him. I mean, we just talked about liking our athletes to have that more toughness opposed to the finesse, and I just think that's incredible. This is sad that he's injured, but still just a really cool start to start a World Series, someone doing such an impressive feat.
Yeah, his offense backs him up. A big 6-2 win on opening night in Game 1. The huge Jorge Soler home run, first pitch of the game in the World Series. Like, what a way to kick off a World Series. Nobody wants the Houston Astros to win the World Series this year. But I think that kind of just...
Not even Houston. People in Houston.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. That place was pretty freaking loud last night. Game 2 is actually going on right now. So, again, Game 3, Friday in Atlanta, Georgia. Go Braves. But other than that, when you're looking at, not just spreads, but parlays, prop bets going into the World Series, it's kind of very difficult at this point if you are a sports betting fan and a Major League Baseball fan because managers are just mixing and matching all the time. The second a pitcher gets into a jam, you're done. It doesn't matter what your pitch count is. It doesn't matter how much you got left in the tank. If you don't got it immediately, you're out. You're getting the quick hook, right?
Yes.
So it's very hard to place, certain bets in this game. I think if the Braves do go up 2-0 tonight, and we'll find out, you guys will know after this goes out, going back to Atlanta, you got to lean Braves when you're looking at the over. But at the same time, the Houston Astros have proven, they went down 2-1 against the Boston Red Sox after the Red Sox creamed them. It was like 9-1 in Game 3. They thought that the Red Sox was going to run away with it, or at least, I thought they were going to win the series after winning Game 3. Astros come back, win 3 straight with ease. The Red Sox offense does not show up at all after Game 3.
Game 5 was 9-2, right? They just throw it right back,
They didn't score anything in Game 6 either. 5-0 win for the Astros. So to win the pennant, I don't see Houston coming back if they lose Game 2 tonight, but who knows? We've seen it turn around. I'm going to check the score before we put them down too much. They could be up 10-0 in the third inning. They are currently, because it started at Eastern time, they're up 7-2 in the 7th inning. So this series is going to be tied 1-1 going into Game 3.
Good thing you did that. That would have been a little...
Which totally changes my last opinion on BetOnline. It's going to be interesting, Game 3, what the matchup is going to be.
Swing game.
Rekindle the fire while I try to rekindle this argument that I just made regarding the Houston Astros and Atlanta Braves World Series in 2021. Game 3, again, will be played in Atlanta, Georgia. I was right about that. First 2 games in Houston. But Game 3... it'll be interesting to see what the pitching matchup is going into Game 3, because I think the Braves easily have the upper hand when it comes to their starting rotation. The Astros they've made it work. Their offense, obviously, they're minus George Springer for the first time this year in 2021, signed with the Toronto Blue Jays, but they still basically have their entire infield intact with Yuli Gurriel, you got Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman. Michael Brantley, I think, is one of the best overall hitters in baseball, one of the most well-rounded hitters in baseball. Game 3 will be very, very intriguing to me. I don't think I'm going to bet on it. I think I'm going to stick to my NFL bets. But I just, if you're going to bet anything, you're going to bet runs. What's the run line going to be in Game 3? We saw a 6-2 winning Game 1. They're up 7-2 in Game 2. Are
you going to go with the over? Probably, let's assume it's a 7-7 over-under run total.
No, over.
Going over? Okay.
One team, if not both. I get Atlanta, the humidity down south. The ball, if that ball gets up in the air, you don't know what's going to happen.
That's
That
true.
could result in a lot of runs.
No, I completely agree. I'm excited. This is the first time I've been excited about a World Series since the Giants have been in it. That last time they were in it, I was watching it with my uncle. But I'm finally excited for it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right. One of the last 2 things we got to talk about right here. College football. There are 3 ranked matchups this week. The first one, Ohio State versus Penn State. Penn State last week, I was watching that game with my father, big Penn State fan. College football record, 9 overtimes. But they still, even after 9 overtimes, they ended up losing to an unranked only 2-win Illinois team at home. Not just home, they're homecoming. So they shot it. I believe they're ranked 20 now. They've completely fell. The past 2 weeks, Iowa, their quarterback, gets hurt. That's one thing. And it was a 3-point game against what we thought was a really good. But then Iowa loses to an unranked Purdue at the time. And then Penn State. Big Ten is looking a lot of things shaking up. Looks like it'll come out of Michigan this year, which we'll get to that game in a second. But for that game, the Penn State Lions are 19-point dogs. I'm expecting Ohio State to win. Sorry, Dad. I think you're just as doubtful as I am, but I do expect them to cover.
I don't think anybody's confident about the Nittany Lions anymore.
No.
I think they have one of the most incredible fan bases in all of college football.
Yes.
Michigan might take the cake.
It's close.
I've been to a whiteout myself out there near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I think it's very, very incredible to see what they've done over the years. I think they're like the Cowboys, honestly.
Whenever it matters, they something disappoint. Yeah, I think they'll at least cover
on and off the field.
I don't think they'll lose by over 19, or at least maybe that's just hoping. But and then it's 59.5. I'm going with the under. I think Penn State's defense has been one of its saving graces.
With the under in a game, I don't know. Penn State, Ohio State, adrenaline's going to be rushing. Packed house.
I still think Penn State's
college football. Come on. I don't know.
I know C.J. Stroud for Ohio State has looked amazing these past handful of games, but I'm still predicting that it's the 59 going under on the 59.5. I would expect probably them to score, like 30 something, but then Penn State to score 20, like a 10-point win, like a 30-20 game. Still, like, C.J. Stroud does his thing, but I don't think it'll be that high of a score.
What'd you say the over was?
59.5 is the over.
59.5. I'm willing to go over just because you went under, and we'll see what happens.
All right, I like
Best
that.
Best of luck to you.
I like that. All right, the second ranked game of this college football week, probably what will decide the Big Ten. Obviously, either of this team will still have to play Ohio State, which could change things. But Michigan versus Michigan State, in-state rivalry. I believe it is it's at Michigan State this year.
Won't matter.
Michigan State is 4.5-point dogs, but I'm predicting Michigan State not just to cover. I'm predicting Michigan State to pull off the slight upset. And I'm also going the under, which is 50.5 is the over-under.
Another one I'm willing to bet you on, man. I think that history has shown that the Wolverines, whether it be, at home
or
on the road, they're just the better team. They're just the better team.
Do you think Harbaugh finally wins a Big Ten championship, or at least goes into the Ohio State game being able to do it?
100%.
Wow. So you're picking Michigan State to cover at least? You're expecting it to be at least
I expect it to be, yes. I expect it to be competitive, but I expect Jim Harbaugh to finally grasp the promised land.
Hey, I wouldn't be upset. I think Michigan State will do it, but I would not be upset if I'm on the over-under of 50.5.
I'd go under 50.5.
Okay,
yeah,
that was the same.
This is different. I think Ohio State, Penn State, I think offensively.
C.J. Stroud is just,
I think there's going to be something heavyweight like there. But this one's going to be more of a defensive bout, I think.
No, absolutely. And then the third and final ranked match of this college football weekend is Ole Miss versus Auburn. Ole Miss at Auburn, even though they're the higher ranked team, are 3.5-point dogs. And I'm also expecting them, just like with Michigan State, to not only cover, but to win outright and pull off the road upset against Auburn. And I'm going with the under in all these games. It's 47. 67 is a very high score. So
he can't read.
So I'm going the under on that, but I'm thinking Ole Miss to pull off the upset against Auburn.
Again, I'll bet you on that one too. I got Auburn over Ole Miss. Not by much. I think this one will be another close game, but I've always been a big Auburn supporter.
So you're directly challenging the Oracle.
I'm directly triple devil dog daring you to lose all three of those matches.
Wow.
So we'll recap those ones to start next week's show.
Yes,
for sure.
Those will definitely be. One of us will be smiling and one of us will be frowning. So you guys will know.
Or one of us will be smiling and one of us will be taking one on the chin because he is a man with mutton chops.
All right, so I believe the only last thing to talk about this week is
see how prepared he is.
UFC 267.
I think it's very interesting how UFC 267 is taking place in Abu Dhabi this weekend, literally 7 days before they head to Madison Square Garden in the Big Apple in New York City for UFC 268. Both really good main events.
Yes, solid main events. I think people won't mind just because, one, it's been so long since we've had these in-person fights. They've only been back for, I think, for a handful of months now. And the other thing is, even though I know that's a different sport, I think the Fury and Wilder fight, with how amazing that was, I think just combat sports, I think people just want to see another great fight after watching that one. Obviously, that was boxing, but I think that's helping all combat sports.
Especially if you're like an amateur bettor or inexperienced bettor, those are easy ones to figure out.
Yes.
Whether it be a parlay, whether it be covering the spread on a fight, just literally picking who's going to win. I think it's a lot easier as opposed to team sports, just having a side.
Yes.
Jan Blachowicz taking on Glover Teixeira in the main event in Abu Dhabi this weekend on October 30th. And then, of course, we got the double main event at UFC 268. I'm very excited for my boy, Justin Gaethje, taking on Michael Chandler, which was a very highly anticipated fight for both fighters. Gaethje's the number 2 ranked fighter in the world, where Michael Chandler was the guy, like literally the guy, the man in Bellator MMA. Coming over to UFC, he's 1-1. This is a must-win for him. It's a must-win for Gaethje if he wants to continue climbing the ladder in the lightweight division. Then, of course, the main event between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. It's the second fight between the two.
I'm so excited.
I think Kamaru's got the upper hand again. Colby's got the mic game. I cannot wait for their press conference leading up before the fight. That's what I'm excited for. If I could bet on something, I'd bet on Colby going over on the press conference fight talk over Kamaru Usman, because Usman's going to be humble as hell, and then he's going to wipe the floor with him. Okay. I'm going to have to make one really odd prop bet that you're going to make on your own. A prop bet involving Joe Rogan. Oh, cool.
I want you to, whether it's like something that he gets he says a certain phrase, whether or not he gets, the mic taken from him by any of the fighters that he interviews post-fight. I want you to, any predictions you think, any odd, or nothing, or just Joe Rogan, just his normal thing. Here's what I pick. Justin Gaethje's crazy enough, because he's friends with Joe Rogan.
Yes. He's been on the podcast multiple times. Knowing Justin Gaethje, he's crazy enough to, I wouldn't say he's going to pick up Joe Rogan after the fight, but when he interviews him, I bet he tucks his arm around him and just makes it really uncomfortable, where Joe Rogan's face gets really red, and he just goes, that was funny, thanks, Justin. And then he talks about it on his next podcast when he flies back to Austin.
I love that one. I'm going to take it a step further, though. I think he full-on picks him up. I think Justin Gaethje attempts to. I think Joe will stop him. So now we'll get into the main one. Are you picking your boy to win?
I am picking Justin Gaethje to beat Michael Chandler. Honestly, I don't have a dog. The only reason I have a dog in the fight is because Justin Gaethje bought me dinner one time, and he's such a nice guy. But both these fighters need the win.
Yes.
Justin Gaethje had such a huge year in 2020, had a golden opportunity and ran with it. Michael Chandler is looking to prove to be a legit fighter in the UFC after being the guy in Bellator. I'm excited for him. But it's literally, if one guy wins, they're skyrocketed to the moon. If the other wins, they're kind of in no man's land. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna definitely watch with both sides on my mind. I won't be disappointed either way, but I'm going Gaethje.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have for this week. Any last words before you sign off?
Week 1, we were in the studio on the couch. Week 2, we were on Zoom. Week 3, we were at the Bonfire Pit in Chandler. Where will we be on Week 4? Mayweather Boxing and Fitness grand opening this weekend. We are presented by BetOnline.ag. Sign up for that 50% bonus now. Put a bow on it, Zach.